So what we're going to go through here today is two things, discipline and research. Um, what I'm going to spend most of my time on today is showing you how we can use ChatGPT to do some fundamental research. And the reason for this is because fundamental research is really arguably some of the most time-consuming work. Not only does it take expertise, it is incredibly time-consuming to do the work of deep dive fundamentals. Um, Fundamental data is not particularly organized well, so it doesn't particularly lend itself for easy analysis across multiple symbols. You have to find a way to first normalize the data, then have a strategy for analyzing the data, and then actually do the work of analyzing the data. And arguably, even if you had the strategy, just the work of having to go through Excel spreadsheets and going through rows of data to find what you need and analyze what you need. That's why equity analysts are some of the hardest working roles on Wall Street. If you look at kind of the people who focus on equity analysts, those are the guys that work 16, 17 hours a day because the amount of work that it takes to manually go through all of these Excel spreadsheets is incredibly manual. And ChatGPT has now started to allow us to or allow anyone to automate a lot of the steps that equity analysts would used to have to do manually. So that's what I really want to spend some time in showing you how to do it. And we're going to do it in real time. We're going to do it together. I'm going to show it to you how I utilize ChatGPT for it to help identify over or undervalued stocks. Now, that's not the only way that you can do it. I'm just showing you one way as to how you can use ChatGPT for this specific fundamental research. Then what we're going to do is we're going to align it with some of the technical research that we already do. So we can find overvalued or undervalued or overvalued stocks, and then we're going to look at the technicals on it and see which stocks align the technicals with the fundamentals, and then show you how to do some automation across all of it so that once you kind of do this work, you can start finding opportunities on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, very, very quickly. So those are the things that I want to try to walk you through during today's session. Now, before we jump into it, I do want to discuss a little bit about access to data from ChatGPT, because this is arguably, in my opinion, one of the what's the right word? One of the limitations and one of the downsides, I would say, at the moment to what ChatGPT is capable of doing. It is incredibly capable of analyzing, but what I have found, and trust me, I've been trying and trying and trying from the old models to the new models to even ChatGPT 4.0, which arguably is far more advanced in its ability to pull data from the internet. But when it comes to financial data, specifically fundamental data, it is not particularly reliable at finding clean data for fundamental analysis. So I do not rely on ChatGPT for any type of data pulling, meaning I don't rely on ChatGPT to figure out where to find the information and pull it to analyze. I give it the information that I know is quality and I know I can rely on for it to analyze for me. And a lot of people have been asking me over the past few months regarding where do we get our fundamental data. So I get it from a company called GuruFocus. It's not really expensive. It's not really cheap. It's not like $10 a month. It's about $500 a year for $500 a year for U.S. fundamental data. A lot of people might think that I get fundamental data for free from my brokerage firm anyway. Why would I pay $500? Well, the limitation that you get from any type of free source like Yahoo Finance, which arguably is a decent source for financial information, is that you can only get one symbol at a time. You can't do bulk downloads across, all S&P 500 stocks for the financial metrics that you're looking for. They're certainly not normalized the way that you need it to. So I use a company called GuruFocus. They have an incredibly deep fundamental analysis tool. Just about everything you can possibly think of, 30 years worth of financials, everything that you can see visually in terms of the financial data, and then an incredible amount of financial ratio data, valuation data, profitability data, growth data, momentum data, analyst data. So, what are analysts expecting the stock to do in the next few fiscal years? What are they expecting the earnings to grow for? What are they expecting the revenues to grow for? These are all important inputs that go into my process for looking at that deep dive fundamental data. And, just Yahoo Finance or free sources, from your brokerage firm just do not cut it. Certainly, you don't have the ability to bulk download, hundreds or thousands of symbols at once from those free sources, and that's why I rely on a service similar to GuruFocus. There are lots of other ones that do similar type things. The thing about fundamental data is that it's all the same data, meaning, if Apple reports earnings, it doesn't matter which data provider you go to, you're going to get the same data, right? It's just a matter of how is that data presented to you, how easy is it to visualize, how easy is it to utilize that data and download that data and massage that data. Those are the things that I think are different from one platform to the other. So it's just about finding one that suits you, and this is the one that suits me. So if you want to check out GuruFocus, you can sign up for a free 7-day trial. You can point your phone to that QR code, or you can go to trade.optionsplay.com/guru if you want to check out the source that I use for my fundamental data. Okay, so what I want to show you here today is when we publish our Monday morning macro research every single Monday, you'll notice that when we put out ideas during the Monday macro research, such as the one we put out here for Alphabet, I give you a layout of the technical view of the underlying security that we have a bullish or bearish view on. We give you a chart that we analyze, and then we give you this fundamental overview, right? So the data that comes back from this, like for example, what is the forward PE ratio? What are the margins? What are the expected growth rates, EPS growth rates, revenue growth rates? Those are the data points that I'm pulling from GuruFocus. But just having the data is not enough. You need to be able to analyze the data in bulk to actually find stocks that are undervalued or overvalued. And that's what I want to spend a little bit of time during today's session to show you that. But just know that for ChatGPT right now to do this type of deep dive fundamental analysis, you must provide it with clean fundamental data before you can have ChatGPT do it. You can ask ChatGPT to pull data from, let's say, Yahoo Finance or another source, and I've had very inconsistent results from that, which is why I don't rely on ChatGPT to pull that data. I only give it data that I know I can trust.